D Plus released 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again Season 2 last week. The first one, episode 2, was titled Shoot the Moon. The third one was titled The Scales and the Sword. For a show that's called Daredevil Born Again, you'd want some more Daredevil in it. I think I had the same complaint about the first episode. So this one actually picks up right from the last one with Matt outside Cherry's apartment as the police and ambulance have arrived to take him away. The dead, AVTF agents, troopers, whatever inside, they were killed by Bullseye, saving Matt. Matt doesn't know why it was done. So he goes back to, the hideout with Karen above Josie's bar. And that's kind of it for Matt Murdock for a bit. We do get to see a little bit of a scene of him in daylight, him and Karen scoping out the Red Hook district, trying to figure out what Fisk is doing there. It looks like during the daytime, they're recovering, domestic goods from the downed ship in the harbor. At night, there's probably something more nefarious going on. So that's what they want to figure out. Is it weapons, illegal goods, whatever? We know Fisk is the bad guy, and he's using this whole thing just to make money. And then in the end, actually, we'd have an action scene with Daredevil. But that's it. That's it for Daredevil, pretty much in this first episode. What else do we get? Some really good stuff.
You guys do have sarcasm on this earth, right?
So we get Cherry being smuggled out of the hospital by his old cop buddies before the AVTF shows up. We get Fisk boxing with a personal trainer. I guess this is to prepare him for some charity fight or something. Bullseye kills a couple other AVTF guys and then starts, spying on Vanessa. Buck and Fisk talk about what to do about Daredevil. Fisk decides that we're not going to go after Daredevil. We're going to ask the city to find Matt Murdock. Bring this hero home, which is actually not a bad move if you think about it. He's got the public out there looking for Matt Murdock, having everyone think the vigilantes did something to him. This man's a hero. He saved my life. Please help me find this hero and bring him home. So he's now got the public doing his work for him. That actually will, hinder Matt and his ability to move around. Hey, do you remember Angela Ayala? No, that's okay. I didn't either. Do you remember White Tiger? I do remember that dude. He was in the first season, and he was also arrested and everything. Vigilante, got his powers from an amulet. Well, he got killed in the first season, and this is his niece, and Angela and her aunt Soledad go to a bodega where it's being robbed. The owner, brings out a shotgun to stop the robbers, and the AVTF shows up and arrests the owners, arrests the kids. And then when the aunt, Angela's aunt, tries to say to the police, hold on, wait, she touches him and grabs him, and then she gets arrested for assault, which is technically an accurate charge. You shouldn't be laying your hands on officers during that type of situation. Could have been definitely handled better, but you know why it's not? Because AVTF is heavy-handed. They're authoritarian. They're fascist. They're ICE. Yes, the analogy. Come on, I may even call them ICE by mistake while we're talking about this episode. Anyway, she's taken into custody. That's right. So then she's gone. That's right. Just, as we say, disappeared. Angela goes to Karen McDuffie, remember Matt's partner. Guess she's still serving some purpose. I don't know. She sees the box of Hector's belongings, which includes his White Tiger amulet of power. You know what's happening. She's taken that little amulet. She's going to become White Tiger because there actually is a female version of White Tiger after the original version of male White Tiger went away. What else happens in this episode does not involve Matt Murdock? A lot. BB York is revealed to be the face underneath the Kingpin mask in these Kingpin Loves You videos. That's right. All these viral videos going out there saying, Kingpin loves you so much. I'm doing everything I can for New York. And in the end, they also show scenes of violence, people being arrested, normal viral stuff. She's the one behind it, and she's probably getting this information from Daniel, Gandolfini Jr., Fisk deputy mayor in charge of communications. They're kind of dating, I guess. Yeah. Heather Glenn shows up. Remember Matt's old girlfriend, the psychiatrist? She's having issues, mental issues, still seeing Muse in her head and various places. And that's most of the episode, all that stuff. And then in the end, Karen and Matt are in their hideout above Josie's when the task force shows up. Matt fights off a bunch of them in a brief action scene. Karen, however, somehow goes, I'm just going to say, I don't know, Lara Croft, and beats the hell out of a cop, takes him prisoner, and drags him back to Frank Castle's old lair. So now Super Karen is kicking ass and taking prisoners. So that's episode 2. Episode 3 picks up right from there. Matt and Karen have this officer locked up in Frank's old lair, trying to figure out what to do with him. And it turns out this guy, he wants to join the resistance. That's right. He's not happy doing all the things that the task force makes him do. He's tired of this. He knows it's wrong. So he was actually trying to find Daredevil or Karen or any of the resistance. They keep saying resistance. I don't know if Disney is contractually obligated to use this after, they used the resistance in Star Wars sequels. But it's very clear the resistance is an analogy, not just to Star Wars, because that was an analogy to opposing Orange Man Bad. But in this case, it's going to be Fat Man Bad because Fisk is the analogy for Trump, just as AVTF is the analogy for ICE. So he's there to help them. He gives them a pass to get into the Red Hook district, the Red Hook port, and figure out what's going on. Now, we won't get to anything going on in the Red Hook district until the end. Instead, what we get is the trial of the century. Yes, that's right. The infamous vigilante known as the Swordsman, who, of course, we have, as MCU fans, have been following for years. He's being put on trial. The most infamous vigilante of them all. Or really the only one they caught, because this task force is a bunch of crap. It's just so ridiculous. They're just randomly arresting people on the street, very clearly making it seem like they're only arresting minorities. Clear analogy to ICE as before. But now we have, Jack Duquesne, the Swordsman, Kate Bishop's stepfather or something. Saw him briefly in season 1. Fisk was trying to get him to fund his Red Hook project. He didn't. So he's a Fisk enemy. So Fisk, Fat Man Bad, locks him up as a vigilante. And he's put on trial. And to be honest, it's not a trial. It's just a tribunal. And it is a farce. It really is. It is offensive to me personally as a lawyer. Kirsten McDuffie defends him. The trial is pushed up. She doesn't have any time to mount a defense. So, of course, he's found guilty. It's not shocking. Fisk celebrates. And the entire time, that's all going on. Matt is, just watching on television, a spectator to all this. Thankfully for Charlie Cox, he finally gets the chance to do something in this episode besides just sit around. He infiltrates the Red Hook district port and finds that there's a whole bunch of people in there being kept prisoner. That's right. People in cages. Yeah. It's meant to evoke certain emotions, remind you of certain things that maybe some politicians have done. Actually, they're probably not getting the right politicians since it started with the one before Trump, but whatever. It's, again, heavy-handed authoritarianism from Mayor Fisk. Fat Man Bad. Daredevil is able to get the people out of all the cages, and he frees Swordsman, and that's when the AVTF shows up, and that's when we have a full-on action sequence. I think it's a good 3 or 4 minutes of an action sequence, which I've seen called, I swear I've seen this called on some sites, the best Marvel fight ever. We've heard this a lot. Like, Shang-Chi had the best fights ever. This thing had the best fight ever. Everything's the best ever. It's a fight. It's serviceable. It tells the story it needs to tell. Moving on. The prisoners get out. Karen's trying to figure out, a way to get them out as well. So she's getting to go take over this transport truck. Somehow, Angela Ayala, niece of the White Tiger, has shown up, and apparently she wants to help. She's somehow got a bunch of guns off of guards. She's using the White Tiger amulet. So yes, she is now becoming the White Tiger. Karen and Matt get all the prisoners on board the transport. Duquesne drives them away. Karen and Matt go off separately, and as they leave, Fisk orders the Northern Star sitting in the middle of the harbor to be blown up, killing everyone aboard, including all the people that were employed by him to, take off all the weapons. So he just blew it all up all at once. And then that's episode 3. That's it.
That's simple. That's simple.
I really feel it's becoming a recurring theme with Daredevil Born Again Season 2, featuring Matt Murdock now and then. Most of the story seems to be involving other characters. Like I said, in episode 2, he's mainly hanging out at above Josie's bar. He does a quick stakeout, and then he has a fight at the end, again, above Josie's bar. Everything else goes on around him. Same thing in episode 3. He infiltrates the Red Hook district, teams up with the Swordsman, has a battle. But a large portion of that episode as well is dedicated to other people, other stuff. What's going on all this time? So these are very interesting storylines. We have Fisk and all the political moves. Somehow Karen was able to find the original Red Hook charter. She forwarded it to the governor. There's certain things about how the governor can revoke the charter and stop it from being a free port. Political machinations, very exciting. We got the rigged trial, of course, the farcical trial. Bullseye apparently stalking Vanessa. We know why. He's pissed at her because she hired him to kill Foggy, and then he went to prison and everything. Angela appearing and becoming the new White Tiger. Of course, BB Urich revealed to be the face under the mask of the viral Kingpin videos. Who else we got here? Oh, yeah, that's right. Kirsten McDuffie, who I guess is serving as the law component in the Daredevil show now. It used to be Matt. Now it's this other person who's not Matt Murdock, secondary, tertiary character who I don't care about. The other person I really just don't care about, Heather Glenn. Why is she still here? Are we going to make her into bad guy or not? That seems to be what they're heading towards. For some reason, she's holding on to Muse's mask in her desk at home. I guess she's conditioning herself. She's doing some sort of, exposure therapy, trying to get used to the idea that everything that happened to her was real. I don't know what it is. And I don't know where they're going with it. And I don't know how it fits into the story. The story is getting Kingpin out of power. He has control over New York City. He is running guns through the Red Hook port. Getting him out of power. That's what Matt and Karen are focused on. What does Heather Glenn have to do with any of this? I don't know. I guess it's going to be revealed, but it really seems to not have anything to do with the overall story and just, limits the time of the characters we want to be seeing. Karen Page, a character I actually do like. I just don't know what they're doing here with her. She's now got some sort of vengeance on her mind. There's a scene where Matt is questioning whether or not she's going down Frank Castle territory. I mean, I guess this is her development as a more action-oriented character. I don't like that. We never needed it. The time we saw her when she began was, she was forceful in what, knowing what to do, what she wanted to do, but also violence wasn't her way. She was very shocked when she killed Wesley. Horrified her, disturbed her. She's not a person that does this, and yet they're making it that way. I don't know why. Is there an agenda? Is there some narrative? I don't know. I just don't like this character shift for Karen. That's a change from the original show. Another thing that's a change from the original show was the action sequences. These ones seem a little too MCU Disney stylized. It's okay. It's a serviceable scene at the end at Red Hook, but it is, I swear it's too many jump cuts, and part of it feels really CGI. I imagine all the Billy Club shots, the Billy Club cam, which honestly kind of remind me away of the scene in Spider-Man 2 when Doc Ock's arms were attacking all the surgeons, Sam Raimi style. Kind of remind me of that, but it just was too jerky and didn't feel raw. That was the thing I always liked about the original Daredevil. The action, the violence seemed real. The hallway scene, of course, well known. I've talked about it before. Perfect version of an example of realism. in that show. And this is just not doing it. If you like this, that's fine. I get it. You like seeing Daredevil beat up people. I do too. I just prefer it the more natural way it was seen in Netflix. The last thing that really bugged me is this whole presentation of Mayor Kingpin having absolute authority. I know what they're going for, okay? We all know what they're going for. And this ties back to the whole Mayor Kingpin storyline in the comics. The problem is, what sometimes works in the comics doesn't work in real life. One of the good things about the MCU is, yes, it is a fantasy world. Yes, it's high science and all this stuff, but it's never been presented so ridiculous as it has been lately. The mayor of New York does not have the power to enforce martial law. The mayor of New York does not have the power basically to revoke habeas corpus and hold people without cause, which is basically what he's doing. These are all bullshit charges. He barely allows any representation of any sort. The whole trial system is a joke. It is a kangaroo court. It is a show trial. It's like what was done back in the Soviet Union. You know, the person is always guilty. I mean, basically, it's like, you know, going back to me watching Deep Space Nine, it's a Cardassian tribunal. The person is guilty. The people are satisfied. When it is shown why that person is guilty, he must be punished. Jack Duquesne is guilty of being the most nefarious vigilante out there. I mean, there are a ton of them, right? But they only go after a swordsman. Why aren't they getting the other ones? They're just getting random people off the street. And really, how many vigilantes are there out there? Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Punisher, Daredevil.
I'm Spider-Man then.
You could at least drop a name, drop a frickin' Spider-Man. Come on. Daredevil was in No Way Home, for God's sakes. At least name drop. Hey, why isn't going after Spider-Man? It's just annoying. It's annoying that they're missing these connections to the MCU. The law is so ridiculous. It's offensive. It's stupid and dumb, and it really takes me personally out of the story. Not that there's much of a story right now. Overall, I find this very boring. There's some neat little clips now and then. Yeah, it's nice seeing Daredevil beat up people and everything, but overall, it's just bland. It's lacking the heart and the good story and good characters we used to have. We have great actors on the show. We know Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio can deliver the goods as these characters. They're just not given the story or the lines to do it, and it's really sad. But, you know, I guess we got another, 7, 8 episodes? Maybe it'll just start being bad and as opposed to bad and boring. Questions, comments, witticisms down below. Click all the good buttons. See you guys next time.